first thing I hear is beeping. Not the gentle kind, the insistent, mechanical kind that tells you you're in a place where machines decide if you live or die. My eyelids are heavy. When I finally pry them open, fluorescent lights stab into my retinas. I try to lift my hand, but it feels like someone filled my veins with wet sand. There's a tube in my arm, another in my nose. The ceiling tiles above me are water-stained, yellowing at the edges. I turn my head, slowly, because even that small movement sends waves of nausea through my skull, and see a woman in purple scrubs standing by the window. She's young, maybe 25, with her hair pulled back so tight it looks painful. She doesn't notice I'm awake at first. She's staring out at the parking lot, her shoulders slumped. "Excuse me?" I croak. My voice sounds like gravel being dragged across concrete. She jumps, spinning around. Her eyes go wide and something crosses her face. Surprise, yes, but also something else. Pity. Deep, uncomfortable pity. "Oh my God, you're awake." The way she says it makes my stomach clench. Like she didn't expect me to be. Like maybe I wasn't supposed to be. "Where?" I swallow. My throat is raw, sandpaper dry. "Where am I?" "St. Catherine's Hospital, ICU." She moves closer, checking the monitors beside my bed with quick, nervous glances. You were in a coma. 3 weeks." 3 weeks. The words don't make sense at first. They float in my head like debris in water, refusing to settle into meaning. "My husband," I say. "Mark. Where's Mark?" Her face does something complicated. She looks down at the chart in her hands, then at the door, then finally back at me. "I'll get the doctor," she says. And there's that pity again, thick in her voice like syrup. "Wait!" But she's already gone, her shoes squeaking against the linoleum as she hurries out. I lie there, listening to the machines. Beep, beep, beep. My heartbeat, translated into sound. Proof I'm alive, even though every part of me feels disconnected, floating. The smell hits me then. That particular cocktail of antiseptic, bleach, and something underneath it all that might be illness or might be fear. I've always hated hospitals. Mark used to tease me about it, how I'd get nervous just visiting someone else. "You're such a baby," he'd say, grinning, squeezing my hand. Where is he? I try to piece together what happened before this. There was the grocery store. I remember pushing a cart, reaching for something on a high shelf. Cereal? No. Coffee. Then nothing. Just this yawning blank space where memory should be. The doctor arrives 20 minutes later. He's older, silver-haired, with deep lines around his eyes that suggest he's seen too much. Behind him, the young nurse hovers like a ghost. "Mrs. Chen, I'm Dr. Patel. How are you feeling?" Confused. Weak. "Where's my husband?" He exchanges a glance with the nurse. It's quick, but I catch it. That wordless communication that happens between people who've discussed you when you weren't conscious enough to hear. "Mrs. Chen, your husband hasn't been here in 3 weeks." The beeping seems louder suddenly. Faster. "What do you mean? Since I got here, or—" "He was here the first day," Dr. Patel says carefully. "When you were brought in by ambulance, he stayed for a few hours, spoke with me about your condition, and then," he pauses, "he didn't come back." The room tilts. I grip the thin hospital blanket with my good hand, feeling the rough cotton under my fingernails. That doesn't make sense. He wouldn't just... We've been married for 8 years. He wouldn't... We tried calling him, the nurse says softly. Multiple times. The number he gave us was disconnected after the first week. Disconnected. I don't understand. Dr. Patel leans forward, his elbows on his knees. Mrs. Chen, when you were brought in, you'd had a severe aneurysm. We performed emergency surgery, but the prognosis was uncertain. Your husband was informed of the risks. He signed some papers. What papers? Another glance between them. This one lasts longer. Do not resuscitate orders, Dr. Patel says. Advance directive documents. He said it was what you would have wanted. The machines are screaming now. Or maybe that's just in my head. He told the staff, the nurse adds, her voice barely above a whisper, that he was going to take you off life support, that there was no point in prolonging things. She looks at me, and her eyes are wet. But when they removed the breathing tube to see if you could breathe on your own, you did. You just kept breathing. I stare at her. At this young woman who's looking at me like I'm some kind of miracle or monster. I can't tell which. He wanted me dead, I say. It's not a question. No one answers. They don't have to. Outside my window, I can see the parking lot. Cars coming and going, people visiting their loved ones, bringing flowers and balloons and hope. My room is bare. No flowers. No cards. No evidence that anyone in the world knows I'm alive. Or cares. The nurse adjusts my IV with gentle hands. Is there anyone we can call for you? Family? Friends? I try to think. My parents died years ago. My sister lives in Singapore. We haven't spoken in 2 years, not since Mark and I... Mark. His face swims up in my memory. Dark eyes. That crooked smile he'd flash when he thought he was being charming. The way he'd touch the small of my back when we walked into restaurants, possessive and protective all at once. The way he signed papers to let me die. No, I whisper. There's no one. Dr. Patel stands, making notes on his tablet. We'll need to keep you here for observation. You're stable, but you've been through significant trauma. Your body needs time to heal. Time to heal. As if this is something that heals. After they leave, I lie in the dimness, watching shadows move across the ceiling. Somewhere down the hall, someone is crying. The sound is muffled, but persistent, like water dripping in an empty house. I lift my hand, the one without the IV, and look at my wedding ring. It's still there, gold and simple, catching the light from the monitors. I remember the day Mark put it on my finger. City Hall, just the two of us and a witness they pulled from the hallway. I don't need a big wedding. I just need you. What a fool I was. My thumb moves to twist the ring, an old habit, but my fingers are too weak. Everything is too weak. My body, my mind, the thin thread of reality I'm trying to grasp. The machines keep beeping. I keep breathing. And somewhere out there, Mark is living a life that doesn't include me. Not anymore. Not ever again.
It takes me 4 days to convince them I'm strong enough to walk. Dr. Patel wants to keep me longer. Talks about physical therapy, about monitoring, about the risks of discharge too soon. But I can see it in his eyes. He knows I have nowhere to go. The hospital needs the bed. On the 5th morning, Jessica helps me into the bathroom so I can see myself in the mirror. I wish she hadn't. The woman staring back at me is a stranger. Sunken cheeks, gray skin, hair that's been unwashed for 3 weeks. limp and lifeless against my skull. There's a scar along my hairline where they cut me open, angry and red against pale skin. I look like something that crawled out of a grave. Maybe I did. "You'll get stronger," Jessica says, reading my expression. "It just takes time." But we both know she's lying. They discharge me with a folder full of papers I'll never read and a prescription I can't afford to fill. Jessica wheels me down to the entrance. "Hospital policy," she says, and we sit there together and the automatic door breathes while I wait for... what? I don't even know. "Do you have somewhere to go?" I nod, even though it's not true. She squeezes my shoulder once, quickly, and then she's gone, back to save other people who will have someone waiting for them at the end of it all. I sit there for 20 minutes before I remember my phone. It should be with my belongings. They gave me a plastic bag when I signed the discharge papers. Inside, my clothes from 3 weeks ago, folded and smelling like storage. My shoes. My purse. My phone. I turn it on with shaking hands. The battery is dead, of course, but there's a charging station near the gift shop. I plug it in and wait, watching the screen flicker to life. 17 missed calls, all from the first 3 days. Then nothing. I open my banking app first. My fingers know the password without thinking, our anniversary date, because Mark said it was romantic. Access denied. Please contact your bank. I try again. Same message. My credit card app? Account suspended. My savings account? Account closed. The walls start closing in on me. I'm breathing too fast, shallow little gasps that make my chest ache. A security guard glances over at me and I force myself to slow down, to think. I check my email. Hundreds of messages. Most are spam, but scattered throughout are notices from my bank. Account changes. Beneficiary updates. All dated within the first week of my coma. All authorized by Mark Chen, joint account holder. My text messages are worse. Or rather, the absence of them is worse. Everything before 3 weeks ago is there. Grocery lists, reminders, a heart emoji Mark sent me the morning of my aneurysm. But after, nothing. The thread with Mark's number shows message failed to send over and over. Blocked. He blocked me while I was unconscious. I scroll through my contacts with trembling fingers. Who can I call? Who's left? Sarah? My neighbor. We weren't close, just the kind of friendly where you wave from driveways and accept packages for each other. But she's something. She's a person who might remember I exist. I call her number. It rings 4 times before she answers. Hello? Sarah, it's me. It's Emma from next door. Silence. Long enough that I think the call dropped. Sarah? Emma. Her voice is strange. Careful. We heard you were in the hospital. I was. I'm out now. My voice cracks. I need help. I don't have anywhere to go. Another pause. I can hear children in the background, the sound of a television. Emma, I'm not sure what you expect me to. Please, I just need to understand what happened. Did Mark say anything? Did you see him? She exhales, long and slow. Emma, Mark sold the house 3 weeks ago. He said you were brain dead, that they'd pulled the plug on life support, but you kept breathing on machines and he couldn't bear to watch it anymore. The phone nearly slips from my hand. He told everyone, Shara continues, her voice getting quieter. The whole neighborhood. He had an estate sale, got rid of everything. He said he needed to move on, that staying in the house was too painful. I'm not brain dead, I whisper. I can hear that. She sounds uncomfortable. Guilty, maybe. Look, I'm sorry, I really am. But Mark he seemed devastated. He cried when he told us. We all felt so terrible for him. Devastated. Crying. While he emptied our bank accounts and sold our home. Where did he go? Do you know where he is? No. He didn't leave a forwarding address. He just left. I close my eyes. The hospital lobby spins around me. All fluorescent lights and sanitized floors, and the ghost of who I used to be. Sarah? The house? Who bought it? Some investment company? They've already gutted it. They're flipping it. She hesitates. Emma, are you okay? Do you need me to... I'm fine. I lie. Thank you. I hang up before she can say anything else. Before she can offer help she doesn't mean, or pity I can't stomach. Brain dead. He told them I was brain dead. I think about Mark's face in those first hours after my surgery. What Dr. Patel said, that he seemed calm, matter of fact. I think about him signing DNR papers, authorizing them to let me die. And when I didn't die, when my body refused to cooperate with his plans, he just left. Told everyone a lie that was almost true. Close enough for his purposes. My hands are still shaking as I pull up my browser and search for our address. The real estate listing is still up, sold, in red letters across the top. I click through the photos anyway, torturing myself. Our bedroom staged with furniture I don't recognize. The kitchen where I made coffee every morning. The living room where we watched 8 years of our lives unfold. All of it empty, hollow, belonging to someone else now. There's one more thing I need to check. One more account. I open my messages and scroll back. 6 months ago. A conversation with Mark that I'd almost forgotten. Mark, open that thing we talked about. Used your name like you said. Code is your mom's birthday. Me. Perfect. I still think this is a bad idea. Mark, it's just temporary, until things calm down. You worry too much. The safety deposit box. At First National, the branch downtown. Mark opened it under my name because he said it would be cleaner that way. Because he was in some kind of trouble, gambling debts, he had said, but he was handling it. He just needed a place to keep some cash where his creditors couldn't find it. I signed the papers. I agreed to it because I loved him, because he said it was temporary, because I was stupid enough to believe that in sickness and in health meant something. The box is in my name, solely in my name. Does Mark remember that? Does he think I'm brain damaged to recall the code? My mother's birthday, 07/1952. I memorize it again, even though I never forgot. Even though 3 weeks in a coma didn't erase the basic architecture of my memory. Mark doesn't know that. Mark thinks I woke up as someone different, someone diminished, someone he doesn't have to worry about. I stand up, gripping the edge of discharging station. My legs are weak, but they hold. The security guard is watching me now, probably wondering if I'm about to collapse. I straighten my spine, pull my shoulders back. I'm wearing clothes that hang off my frame and smell like hospital storage. But I'm standing. I'm alive. And Mark has no idea what's coming. I use the last of my phone battery to call a taxi. The driver eyes me skeptically when I climb in. I look like I should still be in a hospital bed. But he doesn't ask questions when I give him the address. First National Bank, downtown branch. As we pull away from St. Catherine's, I watch the hospital shrink in the side mirror. Jessica is probably doing her rounds, checking on patients who have people who care whether they live or die. Dr. Patel is probably saving someone else, and I'm going to save myself. The city passes by the window, buildings I recognize, streets I've driven 1,000 times. It all looks different now, sharper, like I'm seeing it for the first time, or maybe the last time. Everything has weight to it, significance. The taxi driver has the radio on, some pop song about love and betrayal. How appropriate. "You okay back there?" he asks, glancing at me in the rearview mirror. "Getting better," I say. And for the first time since I woke up, it might actually be true. We pull up in front of First National 15 minutes later. The building is all glass and steel, reflecting the afternoon sun. I pay the driver with the last cash in my wallet, $12 and some change, and step out onto the sidewalk. My reflection in the bank's windows stops me cold. That hollow-eyed ghost again. But behind the frailty, behind the scar and the pallor, I can see something else. Anger. It's burning low in my chest, steady and hot. Not the explosive kind, the controlled kind. The kind that keeps you standing when your legs want to give out. The kind that makes you dangerous. I push through the revolving door into the cool, hushed interior of the bank. Everything smells like money and carpet cleaner. A security guard nods at me from his post. Tellers line the far wall, helping customers with deposits and withdrawals, and all the ordinary transactions of ordinary lives. I don't have an ordinary life anymore. I walk to the customer service desk, where a woman in a navy suit looks up at me with professional courtesy that flickers when she sees my face. "Can I help you?" "I need to access my safety deposit box," I say. My voice is steady, stronger than I expected. "Of course. Do you have your key?" My key? I'd kept it on my keychain, which should be... I dig through my purse. My hand closes around the familiar shape. Thank God for small mercies. "Yes," I say, holding it up. She leads me through a door, down a hallway, into the vault. The temperature drops 10 degrees. Everything echoes. Our footsteps, our breathing, the click of her heels on the polished floor. "Box number?" 2847. She finds it quickly, slides her master key into one slot. I slide mine into the other. We turn them simultaneously, and the small metal door swings open. "I'll give you some privacy," she says, and disappears back down the hallway. I pull the box out. It's heavier than I expected. My hands shake as I carry it to one of the private rooms, small, windowless spaces with a table and a chair and nothing else. I set it down, stare at it. This is Mark's safety net, his escape hatch. Everything he hid from his creditors, from the world, from me. I open it. The box is full. Stacks of $100 bills bound with rubber bands, beneath them a velvet bag that clinks when I lift it. I pour the contents onto the table. Diamonds. Loose stones that catch the fluorescent light and throw rainbows across the white walls. Some are small, delicate. Others are substantial, the kind of stones you see in estate jewelry, in engagement rings that cost more than cars. I count the cash, $43,000. I hold one of the larger diamonds up to the light. It's flawless, or close enough that I can't see the imperfections with my naked eye. This is what Mark chose over me. This is what he protected while he signed papers to end my life. I should feel something, rage, grief, betrayal. And I do feel those things, but they're distant now, muted. What I feel most clearly is clarity. Mark thinks I'm broken, thinks I'm lost and confused and helpless. He's wrong. I pack everything back into the box, close it carefully. Then I walk back out to the vault, replace the box in its slot, and lock it. Not yet. I can't take it yet. If Mark checks, and he will check eventually, he needs to find everything still here. He needs to think he's safe. The woman in the navy suit meets me at the customer service desk. Find everything you needed? Yes, I say. Thank you. I walk out of the bank into the late afternoon sunlight. My phone is dead. My accounts are frozen. I'm technically homeless. But I know exactly where $43,000 and a fortune in diamonds are sitting. I know the code. I have the key. And Mark has no idea that the wife he tried to bury is already digging her way out. I stand on the sidewalk outside the bank, watching the sun sink lower between buildings. The air smells like exhaust and hot asphalt. My phone is dead weight in my pocket. I have nowhere to go, but I can't go back to the hospital. I start walking. My legs shake with every step, muscles gone soft from 3 weeks of lying still. The scar on my head throbs in time with my heartbeat. People pass me on the street, businessmen with briefcases, women in heels, tourists with cameras, and their eyes slide right over me. I'm invisible, a ghost haunting her own life. I walk 6 blocks before I have to stop, gripping a street sign to stay upright. Sweat runs down my back despite the cool air. My vision blurs at the edges. A woman stops beside me. "Are you okay? Do you need help?" "I'm fine," I say automatically. She doesn't look convinced, but she walks away anyway. People always do. I force myself to keep moving. 1 foot in front of the other. That's all I can manage right now. Basic forward motion. My house is 15 miles from here, but I need to see it. Need to confirm what Sarah told me. Need to see the empty shell of what used to be my life. I find a bus stop and collapse onto the bench. A schedule is posted on the wall, routes and times that blur together. The number 47 goes within 3 blocks of my neighborhood. My old neighborhood. The bus comes 20 minutes later. I climb on, feet at the quarters I scrounged from the bottom of my purse. The driver barely glances at me. I take a seat near the back and press my forehead against the cool window. The city scrolls past, familiar streets that suddenly feel foreign. How many times did I drive this route? How many times did I sit in traffic, listening to podcasts, thinking about what to make for dinner? All those ordinary moments. I'd give anything to have them back. The bus lurches to a stop. A mother and daughter get on, the little girl chattering about her day at school. The mother smiles, distracted, checking her phone. I watch them take seats near the front, the girl swinging her legs, still talking. I used to want children. Mark said we had time. "Let's enjoy being just us for a while," he'd say. And I believed him, believed we had years stretching ahead of us, all that time to become a family. Now I'm grateful we never had them. Grateful I don't have to explain to a child why Daddy wanted Mommy to die. The bus deposits me 3 blocks from Willow Lane. I walk slowly, each step an exercise in will over body. The neighborhood is exactly as I remember. Tree-lined streets, well-kept lawns, American flags on porches. The Hendersons' house still has that blue SUV in the driveway. The Kowalskis still haven't fixed their crooked mailbox. Everything the same, except me. I turn onto Willow Lane and stop. Our house, my house, sits at the end of the cul-de-sac. The blue shutters are gone.
The front door is a different color. A dumpster squats in the driveway, overflowing with debris. Through the front window, I can see exposed studs where walls used to be. They're gutting it, erasing every trace of the life I lived here. I walk closer, my feet moving on autopilot. The flower bed where I planted tulips every spring is torn up, just dirt and mulch. The mailbox has a different number on it already, or maybe it's the same number but it doesn't belong to me anymore. Hey, this is private property. A man in a hard hat emerges from the house, wiping his hands on his jeans. He's young, maybe 30, with the build of someone who works with his hands. I used to live here, I say. My voice sounds hollow. His expression shifts. Oh, are you okay? You don't look so good. Can I go inside? Just for a minute. He shifts his weight, uncomfortable. I don't know. The owners are pretty strict about liability. Please. The word comes out broken. I just need to see it. One last time. He studies me. This wrecked woman with a scar on her head and desperation in her eyes. Something in his face softens. 5 minutes, he says. Watch your step. We've got exposed nails everywhere. The inside is worse than the outside. They've ripped up the hardwood floors Mark and I saved for 2 years to afford. The kitchen where I made breakfast every morning is gone, just exposed pipes and electrical wires. Even the paint colors are different, primer white covering the soft gray we'd chosen together. I walk through rooms that aren't rooms anymore, just spaces. The living room where we had our first Christmas tree. The bedroom where we slept pressed against each other on cold nights. The bathroom where I collapsed that morning 3 weeks ago, an aneurysm blooming in my brain like a deadly flower. All of it erased. I stand in what used to be our bedroom and close my eyes. I can almost hear Mark's voice, calling me to come look at something on his phone, can almost feel his hand on my shoulder, pulling me back into bed on lazy Sunday mornings. But those moments are gone. Maybe they were never real to begin with. Time's up, the contractor says gently from the doorway. I nod, walking past him without looking back. Outside, the sun is setting, painting the street in shades of orange and gold. It's beautiful. I hate it. Sarah's house is 3 doors down. I can see her car in the driveway, lights on in the kitchen. For a moment, I consider knocking, asking for help, a place to sleep, a phone charger, anything. But I remember the carefulness in her voice, the guilt. She believed Mark's story. They all did. I keep walking. By the time I reach the main road, it's dark. My legs are screaming. My head ponds. I need food, water, sleep. I need a plan. A motel sign glows in the distance. Vacancies, $49 night. I have $12 in my wallet. Not enough. I sink onto a bus bench, pulling my knees to my chest. Around me, the city hums with life. Cars passing, people heading home to houses they still own, to spouses who didn't try to kill them. I should feel defeated, should feel the weight of everything I've lost crushing me, but all I feel is cold calculation. Mark thinks he's won, thinks I'm too broken to fight back. He's somewhere right now living in his new life with his blood money and his clear conscience, believing he got away with it. He's wrong. I'll sleep on this bench tonight if I have to. Tomorrow I'll find a way. I'll get stronger. I'll plan. And when I'm ready, I'll take everything he thinks he's stolen. Every last thing.
I don't sleep on the bench. A police car rolls past around midnight, slows, and the officer inside gives me a long look. I stand up before he can ask questions and start walking again. By 2 a.m, I find myself in the parking lot of a 24-hour diner. The open sign buzzes in the window, neon red against the darkness. Through the glass, I can see a waitress refilling coffee for the only other customer, a trucker hunched over a plate of eggs. I have $12, enough for coffee and maybe toast. The bell chimes when I push through the door.
The waitress looks up, and I watch her face do that thing everyone's face does now. The flicker of concern. The quick assessment of whether I'm dangerous or just pathetic. "Sit anywhere, hun," she says. I slide into a booth near the back, my body sagging against the vinyl. Every muscle aches. The fluorescent lights make my reflection in the window look even worse. Hollow-eyed, gray-skinned, already dead. The waitress brings me water without asking. "What can I get you?" "Coffee and toast. Wheat, if you have it." "Sure thing." She disappears. I sip the water slowly, letting the cold spread through my chest. On the table, someone left a newspaper. 3 days old, but I flip through it anyway. Anything to look normal. Anything to look like a person who belongs somewhere. That's when I see it. A small article on page 7. Local man's grief turns to gratitude. There's a photo. Mark's face, looking solemn, thoughtful. The face of a man who suffered. My hands shake as I read. Mark Chen, 34, says he's learning to find peace after the devastating loss of his wife Emma, who suffered a fatal brain aneurysm last month. "The doctor said she was gone," Chen explained. "Keeping her on machines felt cruel. I had to let her go." Chen has since sold the home he shared with his late wife, saying the memories were too painful. "I'm trying to move forward. It's what Emma would have wanted." Fatal. Late wife. Let her go. I'm holding a newspaper article about my own death. The coffee arrives. I don't touch it. I read the article again and again, memorizing every lie, every carefully chosen word. Mark gave an interview, performed his grief for a reporter, got his story into print, where it becomes truth, becomes public record, becomes evidence of his innocence. "You okay, hun?" The waitress is back, concern creasing her forehead. "This article?" I say, my voice strange and distant. "Do you know when this ran?" She leans over to look. "That's Wednesday's paper, so 3 days ago?" 3 days ago. I was still in the hospital, still learning to walk, still believing Mark had simply abandoned me. But it's worse than that. He didn't just leave. He crafted a narrative. He's telling anyone who'll listen that I'm dead, that he mourned me, that he's bravely moving on. "Do you need anything else?" the waitress asks. "No, thank you." She leaves the check, $4.50. I leave all $12 on the table and walk out into the night. The city is different at 3 a.m, quieter, emptier. I walk with no destination, just movement. My mind is racing, pulling together pieces I didn't know I'd been collecting. Mark opened the safety deposit box 6 months ago, under my name, he'd said, because it was cleaner, because he needed to hide assets from gambling debts. But what if that was a lie? What if he'd been planning this for months, slowly moving money, converting assets to cash and diamonds, things that can't be traced, things that can disappear? And then what? Wait for an opportunity? Wait for me to get sick, to have an accident, to become inconvenient? Or make an opportunity? The thought stops me cold. I'm standing in front of a closed pharmacy, staring at my reflection in the darkened window. Could Mark have caused the aneurysm? Could he have poisoned me, drugged me, done something to... No. Dr. Patel said it was natural, a weak blood vessel in my brain that finally burst. These things happen. Random, tragic, blameless. But the timing, right when Mark needed me gone, right when he'd already moved our money somewhere I couldn't access it. Maybe he didn't cause it. Maybe he just got lucky. And when I didn't die quickly enough, when I kept breathing despite the DNR, he adapted, sold everything, told everyone I was dead, started his new life. But he forgot one thing. The safety deposit box is in my name only. He opened it under my name because it was cleaner, but that means he can't access it without me. He'd need my ID, my signature, my physical presence. Or he'd need me to be dead, officially dead, with a death certificate and probate and all the legal machinery that would eventually grant him access to my assets. How long does that take? Months? Years? Is he waiting for me to actually die? Is that why he hasn't emptied the box yet? Or does he think I don't remember? Does he think 3 weeks in a coma scrambled my brain, erased the code, made me forget about his secret hiding place? My mother's birthday, 07-1952. I've known those numbers my entire life. I'd know them if I had 10 aneurysms. But Mark doesn't know that. Mark thinks I woke up diminished. The hospital would have told him I had memory issues. They tell everyone that after brain trauma. Standard disclaimer. He thinks I'm no threat. I start walking again, faster now despite my screaming legs. There's a plan forming in my head. Not complete yet, but the outline is there. The shape of revenge. Mark has given interviews, created a public narrative. Everyone thinks I'm dead. Good. Let them think it. Let Mark relax into his new life, his clean escape. Let him get comfortable. Let him believe he pulled it off. And while he's busy being the grieving widower, I'll get stronger. I'll plan. I'll wait for exactly the right moment. Then I'll walk into that bank, open that box, and take everything. The sky is turning gray when I find myself back at the bus station. Early commuters are starting to arrive, clutching travel mugs and staring at their phones. I sit on a bench and watch them. Normal people, living normal lives. I'll never be normal again. But don't need to be normal. I need to be smart, strategic, patient. I need to be what Mark turned me into, someone who came back from the dead. A woman sits down next to me, scrolling through her phone. On her screen, I catch a glimpse of a news feed. I lean slightly closer, pretending to stretch. There, another article. A photo of Mark standing outside a sleek high-rise building. The headline: Widower finds new beginning after tragedy. The building has a name, the Azure. Luxury condos on the waterfront, starting at $3,000 a month. That's where he is. That's where Mark is living his new life. I close my eyes and commit it to memory. The Azure. Waterfront. Not yet. I can't go there yet. I'm too weak, too visible. I look like a hospital escape beat, like someone's tragedy. But soon, when I'm stronger, when I have the money from the box, when I'm ready to make Mark Chen realize his biggest mistake wasn't trying to kill me, it was failing.
I spend 3 days preparing. On day 1, I find a women's shelter 2 miles from the diner. They give me a bed, a shower, and a bag of donated clothes that almost fit. I eat 3 meals and sleep for 14 hours straight. When I wake up, my head is clearer. My hands don't shake as much. On day 2, I start planning. The shelter has a computer lab. Ancient machines with slow internet, but it's enough. I research First National's security protocols, their hours, their procedures for safety deposit box access. I study maps of the building, exit routes, camera placements. I also search for Mark. There are more articles, more photos. Mark at a charity gala, looking handsome in a suit. Mark quoted in a business journal about moving forward after loss. Mark living his best life on my ghost. In one photo, there's a woman beside him, blonde, young. Her hand rests on his arm with casual ownership. I study her face until I have it memorized. Then I close the browser and walk away. On day 3, I prepare myself. I shower carefully, washing my hair until it shines. I borrow makeup from one of the other women, just enough to hide the worst of the pallor, to make myself look less like a corpse. I choose the best outfit from the donation bag, black pants, a gray blouse, a cardigan that covers the thinness of my arms. I stand in front of the bathroom mirror and practice. I need to access my safety deposit box. My voice is steady, professional. I don't look sick anymore, just tired, just a normal woman having a hard week. Good enough. The bus drops me at First National at 10 in the morning, Tuesday. Midweek, not too busy, not too empty. I've timed this carefully. I walk through the revolving door with my head high, my purse clutched in my right hand. The key is in my pocket, solid and real against my thigh. Different tellers today, different customers. The woman in the navy suit is gone, replaced by a young man in glasses. Better. No one who might recognize me. I approach the desk. I need to access my safety deposit box, please. He smiles, professional, bored. Of course. ID and key? I hand him my driver's license. The one thing Mark couldn't take from me because it was in my purse at the hospital. He glances at it, glances at me, sees enough resemblance despite the weight loss. Box number? 2847. He types something into his computer. Frowns slightly. Types more. My heart hammers against my ribs. Is there a problem? I ask. Casual, mildly curious. No problem. Just, it looks like there was an inquiry about this box last week. Someone called asking about access procedures. Mark, checking, making sure his treasure is safe. Oh, that was probably my husband. He's been handling some things for me. I've been unwell. The young man's expression softens. I'm sorry to hear that. Let me take you to the vault. We walk down the familiar hallway. My legs are stronger now, but I still feel lightheaded. This is it. This is the moment where I take back what's mine. He opens the vault door. I hand him my key. We unlock the box together, and he slides it out. Take your time, he says, gesturing to the private room. I carry the box inside, close the door, lock it. My hands shake as I lift the lid. Everything is still here. The cash, the diamonds, $43,000 and a fortune in stones. I packed a large purse today. Bought it yesterday at a thrift store. Fake leather, deep pockets, nondescript. I start transferring everything. The bills fit easily, compressed into tight stacks. The diamonds go into a zippered inner pocket. When the box is empty, I stare at it for a long moment. I could leave it like this. Let Mark discover it's gone the next time he checks. Let him panic, scramble, realize too late what happened. But that's not enough. I pull out a piece of paper from my purse, one sheet, folded carefully. I wrote it this morning in the shelter's computer lab. Printed it on their ancient printer. I unfold it and place it in the empty box. Dear Mark. Surprise. I'm not dead.
By the time you read this, I'll have everything you worked so hard to hide. Every dollar, every diamond, everything you thought you stolen from me. You should have made sure I actually died. See you soon, Emma. I fold the box closed, lock it, walk it back out to the vault. The young man helps me replace it in its slot. Find everything you needed? He asks. Yes, I say. Everything. I walk out of First National with my purse heavy against my shoulder. $43,000, diamonds worth God knows how much. Everything Mark needs to start over. Everything he thinks is safe. Gone. The sunlight outside feels different, sharper. I can feel the weight of the cash, the pressure of the diamonds against my ribs. I feel powerful, dangerous, alive. I walk 3 blocks before I stop to rest, leaning against a building. My reflection in the window looks different today. Still thin, still scarred, but there's something else there now. Strength. I pull out my phone, charged now, thanks to the shelter, and search for the Azure. Luxury waterfront condos, concierge service, valet parking, the kind of place Mark always said we couldn't afford. Apparently, we could. He just didn't want to afford it with me. I scroll through the photos, floor-to-ceiling windows, marble countertops, balconies overlooking the water. There's a gallery of recent events. A rooftop party, new residents being welcomed. There he is, Mark, holding a champagne glass, smiling that crooked smile I used to love. The blonde woman is beside him, tucked under his arm. She's wearing a diamond necklace. I wonder if those are my diamonds, the ones that used to be in the box, the ones he gave away before I could wake up. I study the photo until I have every detail memorized. The unit number visible on a door in the background, 1847. The Azure, unit, 1847. I close my phone and start walking. Not there yet. First, I need to convert the diamonds to cash. Then I need a place to stay, somewhere better than a shelter, somewhere I can rest, plan, prepare. And then, only then, will I pay Mark a visit to deliver the divorce papers he doesn't know are coming, and watch his face when he realizes the wife he buried is standing right in front of him, very much alive, and absolutely done playing dead.
It takes me 2 weeks to sell the diamonds. I don't go to just one dealer. That would be stupid. I spread them across 5 different shops in 5 different neighborhoods, selling 2 or 3 stones at a time. I tell each dealer a different story, inherited from my grandmother, selling to pay medical bills, downsizing after a divorce. They don't care. They see a thin woman with haunted eyes selling quality stones for less than they're worth, and they take the deal. By the end of it, I have $97,000. Combined with the cash from the box, I'm looking at $140,000. More money than Mark and I ever had in our joint accounts. More money than I've ever held in my life. It's not about the money, though. It's about what the money represents. I rent a furnished apartment in a neighborhood Mark would never look. Ground floor, month-to-month lease, cash payment. The landlord doesn't ask questions. I pay 3 months up front, and he hands me the keys. For the first time in almost a month, I have a door that locks, a bed that's mine, a place to exist without permission. I spend the first night just sitting on the floor, my back against the wall, feeling the weight of silence. No machines beeping, no nurses checking vitals, no other women in shelter bunks crying into their pillows. Just me and the money and the plan. I buy new clothes. Nothing fancy. Jeans that fit. Shirts that don't hang off my frame. A leather jacket that makes me feel less fragile. I buy food and eat until my stomach hurts. I buy vitamins and protein powder and spend an hour each day doing exercises I find on YouTube. My body starts to remember what strength feels like. I also buy a lawyer. Her name is Patricia Vance, and her office is in a strip mall between a nail salon and a tax preparation service. She's in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a handshake that could crack walnuts. I need to divorce my husband, I tell her. She pulls out a legal pad. Grounds. Abandonment. Fraud. Attempted murder. Her pen stops moving. She looks up at me, really looks, and I see the moment she decides whether to believe me. Tell me everything, she says. I do. The hospital. The DNR. Mark selling everything while I was unconscious. The newspaper articles declaring me dead. The safety deposit box. All of it. When I finish, Patricia leans back in her chair. This is complicated. Can you do it? I can file the papers, but Mrs. Chen, if what you're saying is true, this isn't just a divorce. This is fraud, possibly attempted murder. You should go to the police. I don't want police. I want a divorce, I want it fast, and I want him to get nothing. She studies me for a long moment. You want revenge. I want justice. There's a difference. Is there? She smiles, just slightly. It'll take me a week to draw up the papers. You'll need to serve him personally. Can you do that? Yes. And you understand he'll fight this. He'll claim you're mentally incompetent, that the coma damaged your brain. He'll drag this out. Let him try. Patricia taps her pen against the legal pad. All right, I'll drop the papers. This is going to cost you. I have money. I'm sure you do. 7 days later, I'm holding a manila envelope with Mark's name on it. Inside, divorce papers, a complete accounting of his fraud, and a list of assets I'm claiming, including the contents of safety deposit box 2847. I stand outside the Azure on a Friday evening, watching people come and go through the lobby. Young professionals, couples holding hands, people who belong in a building like this. I'm wearing my new clothes. My hair is clean, pulled back in a simple ponytail. I've gained 7 pounds in 2 weeks. I look almost normal, almost human. The doorman nods at me as I approach. Can I help you? I'm here to see Mark Chen, Unit 1847. Is he expecting you? It's a surprise. He hesitates. I give him my best smile, the one I used to use at dinner parties when Mark needed me to charm his colleagues. I'll buzz up, he says, reaching for the phone. Actually, I say, pulling out a $50 bill. I'd rather surprise him in person. It's our anniversary. The lie comes easily. The money changes hands. The doorman steps aside. Elevators are on your right. I ride up to the 18th floor, watching the numbers climb. My heart is racing, but my hands are steady. The envelope feels solid against my chest, tucked into my jacket. Unit 1847 is at the end of the hallway. I can hear music inside. Something soft. Jazz, maybe. Voices. Laughter. I knock. The music gets quieter. Footsteps approach. The door opens. Mark stares at me. For a moment, neither of us moves. I watch his face cycle through expressions. Confusion. Shock. Recognition. Fear. Emma, you're supposed to be dead. I know. I read the articles. Behind him, the blonde woman appears. She's wearing yoga pants and one of Mark's shirts. Her hair is wet, like she just got out of the shower. Mark, who is it? He doesn't answer. He's still staring at me like I'm a ghost.
"Hi," I say to the woman. "I'm Emma, Mark's wife." Her eyes go wide. "But he said you were dead." "Yes, he says that a lot." I turn back to Mark. "Can I come in? Or would you prefer to have this conversation in the hallway?" He steps back automatically, and I walk past him into the condo. It's beautiful, exactly like the photos. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the harbor, modern furniture, expensive artwork on the walls. The kind of place Mark used to walk past and call pretentious. "How are you alive?" Mark asks. His voice is shaking. "They said you were brain dead. They said a lot of things. You said a lot of things. But I'm not dead, Mark. I'm not even brain damaged. Surprise." The blonde woman is backing towards the bedroom. I'll just stay, I tell her. "You should hear this. You should know who you're living with." Mark finds his voice. "Emma, I can explain." "Can you? Can you explain why you signed DNR papers? Why you sold our house? Why you emptied our bank accounts and told everyone I was dead? You were dying. The doctors said there was no hope." Bullshit. The word comes out sharp, cutting. "The doctors said it was uncertain. That's different from hopeless. But you didn't wait to find out, did you? You just decided to cut your losses and start over." His face hardens. There. That's the Mark I'm starting to recognize. Not the charming husband, not the grieving widower. The real Mark. The one who sees me as an obstacle. "What do you want?" he asks. I pull out the envelope. "I want you to sign these." "What is it?" "Divorce papers." He laughs. Actually laughs. "You can't be serious. Emma, you just woke up from a coma. You're clearly confused. You need help. I need a divorce, and you're going to give me one." Or what? Or I go to the police. I show them the medical records, the DNR you signed, the newspaper articles where you declared me dead, the house sale that happened while I was unconscious, the bank accounts you emptied. I step closer. I show them everything, Mark, and I watch you go to jail for fraud, maybe attempted murder. His jaw clenches. "You can't prove anything." "Maybe not, but I can make your life very difficult. I can make sure everyone knows what you did. Your new girlfriend here, your colleagues, the people who read those touching articles about the brave widower moving forward." The blonde woman is crying now, quietly, mascara running down her face. "This is insane," Mark says. "You're insane. Sign the papers, Mark." "No." I smile. It's not a nice smile. "Then I should tell you. I emptied the safety deposit box." His face goes white. You couldn't. You don't remember. My mother's birthday, July 19th, 1952. I remember everything, Mark. The code, the box, the $43,000 in cash, the diamonds you were hiding from your creditors. Or were you hiding them from me? He moves towards me, and for a second I think he might actually hit me. But I don't flinch. I stand my ground.
Meeting his eyes. "Where is it?" he hisses. "Where's my money?" "Your money?" "It was in a box registered to me, under my name, my social security number. Legally, it's mine." "You bitch. I left you a note. In the box. Did you find it yet?" From his expression, he hasn't. He's been too comfortable here, too confident in his new life to check on his hidden fortune. "You had no right. I had every right. You tried to kill me, Mark. You sold everything we owned. You moved your mistress into a luxury condo and told the world I was dead." My voice is steady, cold. "I took what belonged to me, and now I'm divorcing you, And you're going to sign these papers, or I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of man you are." Silence. The blonde woman has disappeared into the bedroom. I can hear her in there, crying harder now. Mark stares at the envelope in my hands. I can see him calculating, weighing his options: prison or divorce, public humiliation or private defeat. "If I sign," he says slowly, "you'll leave me alone? You won't go to the police? If you sign and don't contest it, if you give me everything I'm asking for, then yes, I'll disappear. You'll never see me again." "What are you asking for?" "Nothing you haven't already taken. I keep the money from the box. You keep whatever's left in your accounts. We split nothing because there's nothing left to split." I pause. "And you never speak my name again. No more articles, no more grieving widower act. I'm dead to you permanently." He takes the envelope, opens it, reads. I watch his face as he realizes he has no choice. I've taken everything that matters: the money, the control, the narrative. All he has left is his pride, and even that's about to cost him. "I need a pen," he says finally. I hand him one. He signs 3 places. I witness each signature, dating them carefully. When it's done, I take the papers back. "Goodbye, Mark." I walk out without looking back, down the hallway, into the elevator, through the lobby where the doorman nods at me like I'm just another visitor. Outside, the harbor lights are reflecting on the water. The city is alive with people going about their normal Friday nights. Dinners, dates, lives that make sense. I stand there for a moment, feeling the weight of the envelope in my hands. Proof, evidence, freedom. Behind me, the azure rises into the night sky. Mark is up there somewhere, realizing what he's lost, what he threw away. But I'm down here, alive, free, and finally ready to start over. Not as Mark's wife, not as a victim, just as Emma, whoever she turns out to be.